You're listening to the AstroMommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the AstroMommy community. I hope you enjoyed today's horoscope and card reading. If you would like to support the AstroMommy Newsletter, there are several ways to do so. Subscribe on Substack, share it with a friend, schedule a reading, check out my family's Etsy shop, Metaphysical Flamingo, or just leave a tip. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. Pluto's transition from Capricorn to Aquarius. Horoscopes for all 12 signs. March 23, 2023. Pluto enters Aquarius for the first time since 1778. The very first aspect to perfect today is Pluto's ingress into Aquarius at 8:14 a.m. Eastern Time. Below is the ingress chart cast for New York, New York. There he is at the top of the chart at 0 degrees Aquarius, 0 minutes. In this post, we will talk about what Pluto represents, what the transition from the last decan of Capricorn to the first decan of Aquarius symbolizes using the correlating tarot cards, and finally horoscopes for all 12 sun or rising signs. It is a huge day for astrologers. Okay, let's get into the astrology. What does Pluto represent? Pluto is the planet of transformation, death, and rebirth, and whichever house he will be traversing for the next 20 years will point to the areas of your life where profound changes will occur. Pluto is about survival, and often one extreme or the other is experienced. Whatever area of life Pluto will be triggering may go through an irrevocable change, and this could be intensely good or it could be intensely miserable, and since it's such a long transit, it may be both. I feel like Pluto comes along and insists on change to happen. If you fight it, there's a good chance you won't win. It's like the caterpillar turning into a butterfly, right? The caterpillar can't stop nature from taking its course. It just has to surrender to the process of metamorphosis. That's what Pluto requires of you to do. Surrender to the process of your own metamorphosis, and if you don't, well, there's a reason this planet symbolizes death. Pluto takes about 248 years to go around the sun, and as such, he spends many years in each sign. Pluto is called a generational planet because the transits are long and affect swaths of people at once. Pluto's time in Aquarius may unfold slowly in your life depending upon where your natal placements are. I have found that Pluto is most intense personally when it is aspecting one of my natal planets. For example, I do not have any planets in the sign of Aquarius, but I do have planets in the signs that will form sextiles, trines, and squares to Pluto, so I can expect some beneficial experiences and also some profoundly challenging ones while Pluto is in Aquarius. Pluto's transition from Capricorn to Aquarius as symbolized by the tarot. Pluto went into the last degree of Capricorn on Saturday, February 11th, 2023. The last decan of Capricorn is represented by the Four of Discs in the tarot, which has to do with holding on to the wealth and possessions that you've amassed, but also the limits and boundaries of your own inner castle. There is a scarcity mindset that accompanies this card, as the man in the card is holding on tightly to his pentacles, fearing that he won't have what he needs to survive if he loosens his grip. He is also alone in his castle, indicating to me that maybe he feels that money and riches are more important than relationships. This card also correlates to the sun in Capricorn, so a plot line to life that embodies the spirit of business and enterprise, building an empire that will not only sustain you in this lifetime but leave a legacy. Underlying the feelings of scarcity and wanting to protect all that is yours, there is a growth mindset, a generous and kind heart, and a desire to have an abundance of wealth that will provide for others, so it is multifaceted. I think this is very fitting for Pluto in the final degree of Capricorn, and it could have been a really intense month, and year ahead, where many people feel that they have to hold on tightly to what they have to survive. Pluto will ingress into the sign of Aquarius on March 23, 2023, and then station retrograde on May 1, 2023, traveling back to 27 degrees Capricorn, 53 minutes, and then station direct again on October 10, 2023. Here is a graphic that I made of Pluto's ingresses and retrogrades for this year and next as he makes this transition from Capricorn to Aquarius. We have never felt Pluto in this space of the zodiac in our lifetimes, and we won't ever experience this transition again after 2024, so this is a big deal. The first decan of Aquarius correlates to the Five of Swords in the tarot, which has to do with saying things you regret later. You've won the verbal battle, but you feel alone and like crap because you alienated everyone and they no longer want to play with you. This card correlates with Venus in Aquarius, so there is the feeling of wanting to provide something nurturing and pleasurable, but it could come off as detached and cold. The man in this card looks like he wanted to have a good time with the others on the playing field, but whatever he said was too harsh. It could also be that we are taking the stance of the people walking away, and we are leaving a situation that wasn't fun anymore. I think looking at these two cards side by side tells an interesting story that correlates to the transition that we may all feel as Pluto moves into the first decan of Aquarius. Going from a mindset of survival and building our castle to one of detachment, estrangement, and regret. Maybe we held on too tightly to what we had and we alienated those around us, and now we have to eat crow. The Five of Swords indicates it could be something that was spoken or communicated in some way, and those words need to be retracted and taken back. The man holding the sword said things he shouldn't have, and now he has to apologize. Pluto in Capricorn has been about making it up the mountain, building our castles, our boundaries, and foundations, and the journey has been long, hard, stressful, and painful at times. Pluto in Aquarius may be about changes and innovations in the garden of life. Pluto churns the soil, digging deep and exposing what was once hidden in the darkness. This is a shock and requires extreme adaptations, and our survival instincts will kick into high gear trying to return our exposed sides back to the protective, moist, and dark places. That's why Pluto is transformative and represents birth, death, and rebirth. The major cycles of life that flip the switch and produce new versions of what we once were. We can't go back to our old selves. Now let's talk about the things we can expect for each of the 12 signs. This will make the most sense if you read your rising sign. If you do not know your rising sign, you can cast your chart for free online at many websites. Here are a few of my favorites: cafeastrology.com, astro.com, and astroseek.com. Pluto into Aquarius, Sun rising sign horoscopes for all 12 signs. Aries. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 11th house of friends, allies, groups, hopes, wishes, and money from the king. You can expect some profound changes to occur in regard to who your friends are, which groups you align with, and who you network with. You may also experience a transition around what you hope and wish for, and which wishes are fulfilled and why. You may be a receiver of money from the government or so-called pennies from heaven. Taurus. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 10th house of career, public recognition, and the mother. While Pluto is here, you can expect some really big changes in how you put yourself out in the world and what you are publicly known for. Your mother or another authority-type figure may have intense changes as well. You could get promoted, lose your job, or completely reinvent what you do for a living, or something in between. But changes in the workplace and your career would be very typical. Pluto could also bring you great wealth, power, and control, or the complete opposite, poverty, despair, and chaos. With Pluto, it's about survival, so it's often extreme. Gemini. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 9th house of higher education, religion and belief systems, long-distance journeys and air travel, or a pilgrimage. So you can expect deep and profound changes to occur in your education, your beliefs about things, or how and where you travel. You could become extremely committed to learning something new in one of the humanitarian fields, like medicine, law, science, the arts, astrology, or philosophy, and this could become something that you work really hard on and become well known for in the future. Your beliefs or the religion that you practice could change in an irrevocable way. You could go on a life-changing pilgrimage or long-distance trip that transforms you in some spiritual way. Cancer. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 8th house of shared resources, debts, financial investments, other people's money, and death. You can expect transformations around your relationship with money, investments, inheritances, shared resources, and how you depend on your partner and how they depend on you to change. You can expect your relationship with death and end-of-life planning to go through a metamorphosis as well. The karmic bond that you share with another person may go through a death and a rebirth. The way in which you feel spiritually bound to someone may change. There could be a death in the family. Leo. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 7th house of relationships, marriage, legal contracts, legal issues, open enemies, and the setting place. You can expect great and profound endings and beginnings around marriage and partnerships. This is such a long transit that you could experience both an end to a relationship and a beginning, and both could be profound. Whoever is in your life during this time is likely to be a soulmate. You could go through some big changes in your business contracts or legal contracts that involve a metamorphosis of the agreement or the deal, or maybe the deal dies and another is born. There could be a death in the family. There could be changes around your open enemies, or maybe you realize who your enemies are and who your partners are. Virgo. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 6th house of stress, health issues, service to others, those that work for you, and small pets smaller than a goat. This could be a tough place to have Pluto go through, to be honest, and there may be health issues that pop up for you or someone close to you that you have to deal with for a long time. If this is the case, you can expect to have to persevere through these challenges, but you will be stronger for it on the other side. This could also be a time of stress when you have a lot on your plate that could be hard at times, but also motivating at times. You can also expect to go through profound changes in regard to how you serve others and also how others serve you. If you have a lot of pets or a small farm with animals, smaller than a goat, you can expect your farm life to go through some major changes that may be really good or really challenging, or both. Libra. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 5th house of children, pregnancy, recreation, and creativity. You can expect your relationship to pleasure and recreation to change dramatically over the course of Pluto's 20 years in this house. You could also anticipate a profound transformation regarding your creativity and the way you express yourself. You could have children or become pregnant, or your relationship with your children could shift. There could be births or deaths that change the family in a profound way. Scorpio. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 4th house of home, foundations, roots, and ancestry, parents, especially the father, real estate, and the end of the matter. You can expect changes involving your family with marriages, births, deaths, elderly parents, and a change to the family dynamic or karma. This house also has to do with landed property, and so you may experience renovations, moving, the buying or selling of real estate, and a transformation of your living environment. Sagittarius. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 3rd house of siblings, community, communication, and short journeys. The 3rd house is also about how you think, and so you could experience a profound change in the way that you mentally process things. You can expect changes in the community that you live in. This may include moving or relocating somewhere that feels totally new to you. Your neighbors could change, or you could change neighborhoods. You may learn a new language or take short local courses. Relationships with siblings could go through meaningful shifts. Your daily route and routine may change drastically over the course of the 20 years that Pluto goes through this house. Capricorn. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 2nd house of personal possessions, money, and skills. You can expect profound changes to your relationship with money, how you make it, save it, and spend it. You may go through a shift in the possessions you own and may go through a period of purging or accumulating. The way in which you own up to things could go through a metamorphosis. Your survival skills may be tested in profound ways that either strengthen you or show your weaknesses, or both. Pluto is about survival, life, and death, and in the 2nd house, this is all about being self-sufficient, and there will be a major change, for good or bad, about how you do that. Aquarius. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 1st house of self, health, personality, identity, and your immediate environment. With Pluto going through this house for the next 20 years, the person you are today will look very different 20 years from now. You may change your appearance or your identity in some way. Your body, your health, or your psyche could go through changes. There could be a metamorphosis of your career, your relationships, or your sexuality. Your personality may shift. With Pluto, there is always change whether we want it or not, and it's the type of change that is chemical, irreversible, and creates a complete reality shift. It could be really exciting, like you're finally becoming who you've known you always were, or it could be scary because you're shedding so much of your old self. This is the placement where we will see many caterpillars turn into beautiful butterflies. Pisces. Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius will be happening in your 12th house of self-undoing, solitude, hidden enemies, confinement, spiritual retreats, and animals larger than a goat. The 12th house is where we do things unconsciously, and oftentimes it's the things that we kick ourselves for later. If you were to look at the time of your birth on an astronomy program and visualize the astrology chart from this perspective, the 12th house is literally behind you in the space where you cannot see. So it's like the stuff in the background, the programs that are running without our knowing, that happens here. While Pluto is here, you can expect things to be forming and gestating in a behind-the-scenes sort of way, building up like kinetic energy. And when Pluto ingresses into your 1st house in 2043 through 2044, the new you will be ready to transform. You may see glimpses of the things that you are working on subconsciously, like places of your psyche where the skin is starting to loosen, getting ready for the big shed in the 1st house. It could also be a time when you are dealing with caring for large animals like horses, Great Danes, or camels. I hope these quick horoscopes have given you something to think about. If you need help figuring out where Pluto will be traveling in your chart, please feel free to reach out and I can assist you. I would love to hear your thoughts about what you think Pluto in Aquarius will be like, so please leave a comment. I hope this is helpful. Until Saturday, AstroMommy.
If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the AstroMommy Newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the AstroMommy Newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmelliance, feeling like you know secret language, biophilia, crying tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.